Hey everybody, welcome back. It is your favorite life and relationship strategist. I am MarshaunO, and I am here to help you with the questions that you have swirling around in your head today. Should you stay? Should you go? Is this relationship worth it? Why am I here? Why do we always argue? Why does it seem so toxic now when everything was going great in the beginning? See, these are a lot of questions that swirl around in all of our heads, especially when we have jumped into our relationships too fast. That is one of the things that a lot of us are guilty of doing, which is jumping into a relationship too fast because we are out here seeking to be in a relationship. Not only are we seeking to be in a relationship, we're actually seeking when we go out on these dates, when we're looking, even if we're saying that we're not looking for the mate, when we're out here looking for our mates, we're out there putting ourselves out there. And then we think that we found someone. And so after 2-3 dates, we're saying, okay, let me jump in. And I'm not necessarily saying that that's a bad thing, but what I am saying is a lot of us are not taking the time to ask the important questions, the deeper questions that would make you say, you know what, this person got their head on straight, not toxic, actually can hold an intelligent conversation. He knows how to talk to me. I know how to talk to him. We talk to each other with respect. We honor one another's opinion. There is no dictatorship when it comes to us. And a lot of times we are not doing that out here any longer. And then we wonder why we get into these relationships and we're arguing, we're fussing, we're fighting all the time. And it's because you did not do the work in the beginning, which is why you are struggling right now. Yeah, that's why you're struggling right now. And so today I want to share with you 5 questions that you can ask that are going to be deeper. It's going to take you deeper into your relationship. It's going to help you get to know your spouse or your partner. It's going to help you understand who you're actually in a relationship with. And on top of all of that, it's going to help you decide if you guys are actually compatible with one another, because these questions are going to make you so very vulnerable. You need to see if your partner is willing to be that with you, meaning vulnerable. If they do happen to open up over these questions and they feel like they need to cry, will they actually cry with you? Will they share their deepest, darkest secrets with you? Are they willing to open up and be afraid and get things off of their chest, the things that's been holding them basically in a stronghold because they have not been able to talk to the stuff about anybody, or to anybody, I should say. And so I have 5 questions where you can decide if you're going to stay or if you're going to go. Basically, these questions are the questions that are going to see if you can save your relationship, because it's going to help you get to know your partner on a deeper level. So let's go ahead and jump into the first question. The first question is, what has been making you feel alone and or lonely? And this question is very important because it's not the question of, you know what, my boo went out with his guys, or my boo went out with her girls and I was lonely for that one night. No, I'm talking about something that has been kind of eating at you because you're in this relationship. You're with your spouse, you're with your boo, but maybe sometimes you feel lonely. And now the sometimes is turning into more often than not. And so this is a way to see if maybe both of you have been feeling lonely within the relationship. And I've actually done this with my husband. And we both were saying how at a particular point sometimes, mainly when one of us gets mad at the other person, is when we were saying that we feel lonely. Because now we're having to, prove a point. The ego is getting in the way. And now somebody has to break the silence. But I don't want to break the silence because ego. And so that's one of the times that we both feel lonely or alone, because we like talking to each other. We actually like one another. And so when we don't get a chance to share our world with the other person because we're both being stubborn or our pride and ego is getting in the way, we feel lonely. because we're used to doing that with each other. Again, because we like one another. And so when your friend is not there for a period of time, you do feel lonely. You do feel alone. So that's the question. What has been making you feel lonely and or alone? The second question, this one is a good one. What scares you about our relationship? What scares you about our relationship? Because most people have not asked that question. This will be able to tell you if you can go deeper with your mate. For sure. Because they're either going to tell you, you know what, nothing scares me about the relationship, or you're going to get an earful, something that you didn't even realize scared them about you, about the relationship, and maybe this is the reason why your relationship is not moving forward. But you don't know because you never asked the question. Or maybe you asked the question and your boo is just scared to share it with you. But maybe when you become vulnerable and open up, now he or she will become vulnerable with you and open up as well. And so what I usually do when I'm having conversations like this, I usually am the one to start sharing my vulnerability first. And the reason why I do that is because most of the time, when you start to share your vulnerability and you're like letting down your guard, and you know, maybe if you need to cry or not, whatever, you're sad, but you're showcasing and sharing your world, sharing your life with your spouse, they will do the exact same thing to you and for you. So anytime I open up and I'm sharing something vulnerable or something that I'm scared about with my husband, guess what? Right after I'm finished, he'll share something that he was dealing with or has gone through, just to let me know that I'm not alone. And, you know, thank you. But sharing something scary specifically about your relationship, this is going to be a way for you to really listen and take in what they're saying. And this is not a time to get pissed off and start an argument about their feelings about why they're scared about your relationship. This is the time for you to literally listen to what he or she is saying to you, take in the information, correct it if you can, and at the very least continue to honor what they're saying, in the sense, even if you need to just be quiet and listen at that point, and or if they need some comforting, to let them know that, you know what, I'm glad that you shared this with me, but that's not actually what's happening, and this is what's actually happening, or this is why I do X, Y, and Z. So you'll give them a chance for you to clarify why you show up the way that you show up, and why they should no longer get offended or feel scared about X, Y, and Z. So the third question: what happened today that made you feel good? See, a lot of times this question is actually important, because a lot of times we'll say, how are you doing? Or how was your day? Right? And it's, what do most of us end up saying? Oh, I was fine. Right? And that pretty much cuts the conversation off. But this it's basically open-ended. It could be anything that could have made them feel good. Maybe somebody just opened up the door for them and they haven't had anybody be nice to them in a while, because they've been having a messed up time throughout their day for whatever reason, and somebody just decided to hold the door for them. Or somebody decided to actually sit down and have a real conversation with them. They took the time to really listen to him or to her, and now that made them feel good. That made them feel heard. This will the open-ended questions are a way for you to continue the conversation, because it leaves room for you to ask additional questions, and where you can get longer answers versus that 1-word or 2-word answer, right? So what happened today that made you feel good? The fourth question is, what do you feel I've judged you about recently? What do you feel I've judged you about recently? See, a lot of times we don't think that we're being judgmental, when in fact we are. And really, perception is reality. So even if you don't think that you were judging your spouse or your partner, he or she could have thought that you were judging him or her about whatever. So this is a time for you guys to actually talk about said thing that you felt that you were being judged about. And then the fifth question. Is there something you've wanted to share with me that makes you shut down? That one could be really, really good. Is there something you've wanted to share with me that makes you shut down? That one could be really, really good, because that can take the conversation in so many directions. All 5 of these questions are intended for you to open up and share your world with your spouse, but also for you to be able to listen to see if you guys are compatible, and mainly, on top of anything, to see how vulnerable each of you can be with one another, and stop being so surface level, and deepen your relationship, deepen your connection, deepen the intimacy within the relationship, so you can truly know who you are in the bed with. So, which question touched you? Which one hit home for you? Let me know, because I definitely want to know which question touched you and hit home for you. Which question are you going to specifically go and ask your partner about? Of course, I want you to ask all 5, but at the very least, which one or 2 are you going to choose to ask him or her about tonight? I'll see you guys very soon. Deuces.